Well, hello there, motherfuckers. And you know what's funny? When I was talking about BlizzCon and the reaction the fans had to the developers getting up on stage and announcing Diablo Immortal, I said something. I said, this was not, a social justice move. This was just a dick move. This was just a business move saying I don't give a shit to the fans. But other people in the industry have taken up the social justice mantle. And what's hilarious is I've got like a bunch of articles here that I pulled off of Reddit. Somebody compiled all the reactions. So Will Powers, who's a senior account director in gaming, True PR. He's worked with PlayStation before. He goes, here's a hot take on Twitter. The people that bash on mobile gaming are an offshoot of toxic masculinity. They get off on hating something that they've traditionally associated with a heavily female audience. So, according to Will Powers, it's not just that the game sucks. Maybe, Blizzard might be out of touch with their audience. Perhaps, they're obsessed with microtransactions and they don't really want to put in the effort of making a game, after like years and years of no news on Diablo or any expansions or any type of thing like that. And fans come to BlizzCon. They're paying money to come to BlizzCon, to find out the latest news on Blizzard products. They're there because they're fans of the fucking company, and they expect something of quality to be shown to them. Instead, they're getting a reskinned mobile game, and they're like, we didn't expect them to be this angry. So, Blizzard just kind of expected the fans to just fall in line. Yay! Just like fucking clap and, just like a bunch of zombies, that don't know any better. I love anything that Blizzard shits out their asshole. I mean, so they're just expecting them to, just basically fall the fucking line. And so, you got Will Powers there, and there's a bunch of other people. You got Jamie Figueroa, who is a brand marketing manager for gaming at Google. Oh, yeah. A few other little things. People in the industry. He says, people are complaining? Man, so glad I don't read internet reactions anymore. I saw the news and am stoked. I play more games on my phone these days than I do on anything else. So, and then Will Powers chimes in, you and me both, buddy. So, everyone kind of just jumps on it, and, they're trying to support this game, and I don't know if it's like Blizzard pays them off, or sometimes it's like they want to just make a big thing about it. You've got, who else is here? Oh, from IGN, one of my favorite websites, Sarcasm, Lucy O'Brien. If you look at her, just look at her. That's basically all I can say. Just look at her, and you already know what's going to come out of her mouth beforehand, right? So she says, when the Diablo dude got up to ask the devs if their game is a joke, he was being a massive dickhead. Actually, no, he wasn't, because this was like so shocking that you've never seen this before. This would be like if Nintendo or PlayStation, or Microsoft. Imagine if Microsoft got up and instead of announcing Gears of War 5, maybe they would have announced like the mobile version of the game, right? Yeah, and that would have got booed too. You're coming there expecting something big, and when they take a shortcut, and not only just a shortcut, but a shortcut that's going to be filled with microtransactions, we all know that these types of games are a crock of shit. Mobile gaming is a crock of shit. It's all, we saw it with a game like Candy Crush. It feeds off of people. People, especially nowadays, they have very addictive personalities. And you would think that you know, with cigarettes probably, you know, sales probably going down, you know, so you would say, oh, well, people are not as addicted to nicotine anymore because, you know, these ads are working, the truth ads worked on TV. But no, maybe with something like that, addiction has gone down, but addiction in other avenues such as gambling and everything have gone up. You could just clearly see it throughout society. You know, people just, they're obsessed. There's, you know, they've even gotten to the point where they're trying to consider video games to be an addiction, to actually be accepted into mainstream psychology. So she goes on, Lucy O'Brien says, there's no real discussion to be had beyond that. It's rudeness and entitlement at its most raw. Oh, forgive, you know, everybody for wanting a game of some quality. Yay! Bad game! Hooray! You know, just that's just wonderful, right? Jason Scheer, who he's a news editor at Kotaku. And he also writes for the Wall Street Journal and USA Today. So, you know, you already know he's mostly, I mean, look at this guy. I mean, just look at him. If you look at this guy, it just says, it just screams, beta, beta. You know, that's all I'm seeing right there. He goes on to say, this isn't savagery. This is fucking obnoxious. Embarrassing behavior. I get why people are mad. I really do. But you can be critical without being an asshole to people who spend their lives trying to entertain you. They really weren't being assholes, but this is how it usually goes. If they do something good, they get cheered. And predominantly all the time, most of the time at E3, most people cheer. Does anybody remember when Nintendo showed Zelda at, you know, when they showed Twilight Princess for the first time? The fans got super excited. They got what they wanted. Is it so bad for fans to get what they want? Is it? I mean, if the fans are predominantly asking for something, and something is a bestseller and sold really well, and, you know, and then you're shown something that is inferior, of course that's not going to be met with a glowing response. So, you know, this is so much bullshit. So then this guy, this is not the real Keanu Reeves, but he responds to Jason saying, nah, Blizzard has been so tone deaf to their fans. This should be expected. This guy is a hero. He managed to embarrass Blizzard without swearing or using any abusive language. And that's very true. Now, I'm guilty of using foul language, of course, but, you know, a lot of times when you're trying to make an argument, it kind of does discredit your argument a little bit. You know, it makes you sound very abrasive. And, you know, that's usually like how these people, like a type like Lucy O'Brien probably would be. You know, they're probably being, you know, super, like, well, Jason Scheer, fucking obnoxious. You know, just a lot of times you see these SJWs and these types of people, they usually, you know, start like, start hurling obscenities and just start calling people's names. You know, you see a dickhead and all this stuff, asshole, you know, all these words, asshole, dickhead, you know, all they can do is name call. They don't know how to properly break down the situation or how to assess it, so they always have to, you know, relegate themselves to the lowest common denominator. So he's absolutely right, this guy Keanu Reeves. You know, he put the nail right on the head right there, and he got 137 likes because of it. So Jason Scheer goes on to write, am I saying his name right? Is it Scheer or is it Sheery? Let's just say Jason Scheer. Hey, Keanu, if you think that two Diablo designers deserve to be publicly belittled and embarrassed because their company decided to make a game for phones, you can feel free to fuck off. So this guy actually writes for a major publication, and he's actually telling somebody to fuck off. And of course, all the SJWs vote up his comment. So I don't understand this. Kotaku, You know, usually like when you're a journalist or something like that, you want to build relations with your readers. So, I mean, obviously, Kotaku and Polygon, they're only interested in one audience, and that's the SJW audience. That's the super liberal audience. You know, the super, you know, I don't want to say liberal, but well, you know what I mean. Like, super left-wing SJW, you just completely just out of their minds types of people. I don't want to say liberal because there's a lot of good people. A lot of my subs are liberals as well. And, you know, there's liberals in the past who have done great things. And they've been totally, you know, a sound of mind and great people. You know, so Jason Scheer is just like the lowest common denominator. I mean, you know, he's like the nut job version. You know, like I'm saying, like that's like the Antifa type of thing. You know, not that extreme, obviously, but I'm saying, you know, he's in that realm of just being totally out of his mind. Paul Tassi of Forbes says, I would call this being a huge dick. You know, Madeline Rose, what is she? She's works for Geek Bomb. She's a Jinx ambassador. She says, I am so fucking disgusted. See, this is what he was talking about, the, you know, the language. And just how everybody has to relegate themselves and, you know, to this just lowest common denominator once again. Just as low as you could get, fucking subterranean. See, I'm saying fucking, but, you know, it's different when you're posting this out. And, you know, you're a host, you're a creator, you're a journalist, you're a developer, and you're putting this out there. I am so fucking disgusted, Madeline Rose goes on to write, by that. Honestly, mortified and angry. Glad the devs could handle it well, but that guy should be ashamed of himself. Handled it well. I mean, I guess they're talking about like that they didn't curse at the audience, but if you call that handling it well, you know, I don't know what that really says about your assessment of situations, because that was not handling it well. That was completely losing your audience and not knowing what to do, because like they said, they didn't expect it. They were that clueless. And David Milner, who is an editor at Game Informer Australia, so I guess that's not the regular Game Informer, which I used to read back in the day. And who's a fan on here of classic Game Informer? I remember Andrew Reiner, just, you know, that was a great magazine at one point. That was so fun to read. And, you know, there was always like bias back in the day, even then, but not as much. But, you know, game magazines used to be really fun. You know, I remember Electronic Gaming Monthly, Game Pro, you know, Nintendo Power, of course. That goes without saying. But, you know, Game Informer used to be a hell of a magazine. But this is offshoot. This is Australia. This is a different publication, I guess. So David Milner writes, how well did the dev handle it, though? I would have jumped the stage and started kicking people. Oh, so, you know, so your response would have been violence, right? So, you know, you're complimenting the developers on how they handle it. I would have handled it horribly. I would have got up on stage and killed people. I mean, this is what we're talking about here. I mean, these are the people here. I mean, who else here? Anything else interesting on here? I mean, it's just basically endless. I could go on all day, but, you know, we got to end it somewhere, guys. So, there you go. I mean, just, wow. Wow, 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 wow. I mean, this is entertaining. I have to cover this shit more often. So, let me know in the comments if you would like to see me, you know, go after more people like this, or not really, I'm not going after them, I shouldn't be saying that, but, you know, commentate on this a bit more. Stay a bit more up on the news, because this story almost passed me by. But I'm like, this is so interesting. I know people are probably like, well, you never really covered PC games before. But like I said, Diablo is a pretty huge franchise, and I have played most of the major franchises, on, you know what I'm saying? Whether it was on console ports or whatever, you know, whether it's Doom or Diablo or World of Warcraft or the Half-Life series, you know, I'm a fan of all those series, so that's kind of why I'm getting into this. And it's more the reaction of the people that's really got me interested. I mean, just look at the response here. It's just, they're saying that people are immature the way they responded because they were all just supposed to fall in line like a bunch of zombies, like a bunch of mindless drones, and just, you know, applaud. Yay! Bad game! I like! Ooka, ooka, ooka! I mean, just like a fucking caveman, like a troglodyte, you know, just falling in line, not saying a word, just not having a brain or a mind to think. Don't think for yourself now. Don't have natural reactions to situations. You know, so it's like, so these other writers, I mean, these complete psychopaths, I mean, just look at the stuff that they write. I mean, their reaction, they're so reactionary, these people. You know what I mean? Like getting all upset, making it a huge thing. And the funny thing is, it's the guy, the dude, it's the man, the male who actually is the first one to use toxic masculinity as it relates to this situation. That's really funny. And I am so sick and tired of that term, toxic masculinity. It's so bad to be masculine. I mean, I guess it's just, you know, just a virtue to be feminine. I mean, you know, God forbid anybody act like a man if they are a man or a boy or of, you know, the male persuasion. God forbid that they actually act what they are. I mean, for shame, right? I mean, like, wow, whoa, you know, people acting like men, people acting like women. I mean, it's just, it's crazy to think, right? So anyway, hit a thumbs up if you liked this video. Hit a thumbs down if you hated this video and you hate my toxic masculinity and you want me to go away even though I never will. Just let me know in the comments. Subscribe if you're not already. Please make sure that if you were subscribed that you still are subscribed. I want to thank you guys once again for 6,000 subscribers. And as Krillin said in the comments, can't wait for 7K, can't wait for 10K. I hope it happens, guys. I really hope it does. I hope that we could get to that milestone. That would be incredible. I mean, if we could somehow round out the year, imagine if we could get on this channel 1,000 more subscribers. That would be awesome. I mean, that would be unprecedented for a channel of my size to grow that rapidly. But I think maybe we could do it. You know what I'm saying? You know, with your guys' support, I think that, you know, anything is possible really here on this channel. You never know. Like I said, one day I might wake up, people might just find these videos. They might just be in their recommended videos one day by you hitting the thumbs up, and people will find these videos, and before I know it, they'll be just as entertained as you are. So anyway, guys, hit the bell so you get all the notifications when I post all my new videos. Check out the videos I have posted here. And thank you for watching, guys. Until next time.